Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It's been 4 years since a destructive invasive insect from Asia was found in Vermont. The emerald ash borer is so named for its emerald green color. Its small larvae burrow beneath the bark of an ash tree, and once established, it can kill the tree. The emerald ash borer, or EAB, was confirmed in Orange County in 2018. It is now confirmed in all but Essex County. EAB cannot be eradicated, but the increased awareness of the destructive wood-boring beetle can help slow its spread. So education is key. To that end, UVM Extension, along with the Vermont Department of Forests, Parks and Recreation and the Agency of Agriculture, are encouraging Vermonters to learn more about EAB. Keith Silva takes a look at what Vermont communities are doing in light of the infestation.
If you want to know how to identify an ash tree, just ask Paul Kate.
White ash is one of 3 species of ash that we have here in Vermont. White ash, green ash, and black ash. The ash trees have opposite branching, and even in a large ash tree, if you look up in the tree, you'll notice that same branching pattern in the whole tree.
This ash tree is located on Gallison Hill Road alongside U32 Midland High School. Kate serves on the East Montpelier Resilient Roads Committee along with Jeff Quedo, the committee chair.
Well, we did inventory in 2019, 62 miles of road. About 2/3 of them are supporting ash trees along the roadside within the right-of-way. Just short of 2,500 ash trees that are 6-inch diameter and larger. The vast majority of them very healthy trees. So it's a little bit of a paradox because we started this committee to preserve roadside vegetation, especially trees, but we're immediately handed with the task by the select board to step ahead and look at removal of ash trees to eliminate that threat to our roads.
The threat to the ash trees in East Montpelier and Vermont is due to the emerald ash borer, or EAB. Native to Southeast Asia, EAB was first discovered in Michigan in 2002. Since then, EAB has been responsible for the destruction of tens of millions of ash trees in 30 states. The only cure is to have the ash trees taken down. EAB was first found in Vermont in 2018. East Montpelier has been spared so far.
It seems rather inevitable that EAB will be in East Montpelier if it isn't here already. We're sort of in the risk zone, if you will. Montpelier, Plainfield, Barrytown all have EAB. And so it could be here now. We haven't seen it. We put up some purple traps last year closer to Plainfield. Didn't find any EAB on the traps. Seeing as it seems inevitable, it's good to kind of get ahead of it.
The site near U32 was selected as a pilot project with 160 trees slated for removal. This effort would inform the committee on costs and, more importantly, engage residents about East Montpelier's proactive approach to combat EAB.
The 160 trees included the hedgerow along Gallison Hill here. The removal extended into 2 of the local neighborhood roads.
One thing that you find when you do this kind of thing is that people really love their trees. And they want to, if you're cutting trees down, they want to know what's the future.
Less than 10 miles east of U32, the impact of EAB is a much different story. Joanne, where are we?
This is a roadside in Plainfield, Vermont, and
Joanne Garten works as a technical assistance coordinator for Vermont Urban and Community Forestry. She works with Vermont municipalities on mitigating the ash trees in their community.
Some municipalities are taking stock of what they have, literally getting out, walking the roads. Our program, Urban and Community Forestry Program, helps municipalities do that. We have some training, we have some iPads and ways that you can sort of help note the location and the condition and the size of those trees. But it's been pretty important for some towns to begin to inventory what they have and start to make a plan for how they might like to be proactive or reactive to the emerald ash borer coming through.
The damage EAB has done in Plainfield is easy to see.
Not too far from where we're standing right now, we know that there are ash trees that are infested with emerald ash borer. We've seen white and black ash infested, and there's likely some green ash there too. Some of the trees along this stretch of road, already we start to see that woodpecker flecking, that blonding up in the canopy of the tree. It's here and we're looking for it and hoping that municipalities can take stock of what's here and plan for a future without ash.
The Vermont Urban and Community Forestry Program offers financial assistance to towns as they plan for the inevitability of EAB.
The Vermont Urban and Community Forestry Program has been really fortunate over the past few years to apply for and receive funding from the U.S. Forest Service that we have earmarked as grant money for municipalities specifically who are looking to manage ash trees, inventory, perhaps take some down, and consider planting other trees, not necessarily right in the same place, but in important areas around their town.
The silver lining to the storm clouds hanging over Vermont's ash trees is a renewed focus on forests that are too often overlooked.
Roadside forests, they can be the forests that we see the most on our drive to and from work or town or school. And we don't think of them as being public places where you would sit and have a picnic or something. They are traveled right-of-ways, but they are managed by the municipality, and there is at times a reason for everyone in the community to have a voice and have an understanding of what's happening, understand what their road crew is doing to keep the roads safe and passable, but also manage this living, breathing forest that's all around your roadsides.
East Montpelier received a $15,000 grant from Vermont Urban and Community Forestry, which they matched in funds and in time from staff and volunteers. Queto and Kate consider the cost money well spent.
Having grown trees for 50-something years and looked after them, that all of a sudden I'm having to authorize taking down all kinds of trees, many of which are excellent looking trees. We're trying to make it into a positive thing as much as we can while we are doing the work of protecting the public safety.
Now that the ball is rolling, we have a very supportive select board in town, and we seem to have community support as well. And for the safety of the road crew, for the safety of the traveling public, for our aspirations for future roadside vegetation in terms of holistic management, it makes sense.
The emerald ash borer is here to stay. Vermont's ash trees may fade from the landscape, but the urban forest endures thanks to those who stand tall for Vermont's trees. In East Montpelier, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
And to learn more about the emerald ash borer in Vermont, we've called on the forest pest educator with the Urban and Community Forestry Program. It's my pleasure to welcome Ginger Nichols. Thank you so much for being with us, Ginger.
Hi, Fran. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what are the signs or symptoms of EAB infestation in an ash tree?
Right. So people might start to see the canopy thinning as branches in the canopy die. And you might also see the side shoots coming off from the side of the trunk as the tree is trying to get more nutrients. But the real telltale sign is increased woodpecker activity and what we call blonding. You can see here behind me an image of blonding, where as the woodpeckers go up and down the tree, their beaks and their feet fleck off big patches of bark. So you get these big blonde patches. And sometimes you can even see the holes that are made by the woodpecker's beak.
And that's pretty high up in the tree probably as well. So if you think your tree is infested, what should you do?
Yeah, so we really want to know if people are seeing trees that they think are infested. Take a photograph, note the location, and then you can go to vtinvasives.org, and there's a report it link where you can submit the photograph and location, and a team of us review the photos, and somebody will get back to you about next steps.
Okay, and should homeowners be cutting down an ash tree if there's one in the backyard?
You know, you don't have to. Both homeowners and forest owners have options. If you have a few trees in your yard, you can treat them with insecticide. The treatments need to be done, they're injected into the tree, and you need to have a certified pesticide applicator do the injections, and they need to be continued for as long as you want to keep the tree alive. If you're a forest owner, we're saying don't be rash with your ash. Ash are a very important ecological part of our forests in Vermont, and we want to keep them on the landscape as long as possible. So you can talk to your forester and make a plan that's in alignment with your values and goals for your land.
Fantastic. And when it comes to firewood, there are specific recommendations. What are they?
Yes. So one of the main ways that invasive forest insects, not just EAB, but lots of invasive pests are spread is through the movement of firewood. When people move firewood from place to place, they're also spreading and moving those invasive pests. So don't move your firewood, buy your firewood or get it where you're planning on burning it.
And this is for all types of ash. About 5 to 7% of all trees in Vermont are ash. But is this all ashes are affected by this?
Yes, we have 3 species of ash in Vermont: white, green, and black. And unfortunately, they are all susceptible to being infested and killed by this beetle. White ash has a tiny bit of resistance, but it's less than 1%.
Okay, Ginger Nicholson, thank you so much for being with us. For more information on the emerald ash borer in Vermont, you can go to vtinvasives.org. Again, thank you to Ginger for being with us today and explaining more. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.